right, well, it's time for our first act. This is very exciting. I've really never seen anything like this. This person, basically, he's a Dramedian. He does jokes based on his dreams, and it's really cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Kobe.
Good evening, thank you very much. Just wanted to remove the equipment with care, so sorry it's taking me a second. Whoops, hello, hey, okay. You still on here? Hello, whoops, I think, hello. There we go. Okay, well, like Eugene said, my name is Chris Kobe, and I'm a Dramedian. And I think he explained, it's hard to hear backstage. Basically what I do is, I do base my comedy on my dreams. And, to me it's like most comedians, what they do, and I think what, Eugene showed us is, they base their comedy on the observations of their daily life. They get up and they take in the world around them, and they make observations and they come up with jokes. And essentially I do the same thing, but about my dreams. I do my comedy I make observations on my dream life, and basically what I do is I have two notebooks next to my bed. One is my dream notebook, and I will wake up every morning and immediately write down all my dreams in as much detail as I can. That takes about an hour, I would say, just because I really like to be as detailed as I can. I usually can recall, at this point, because I've been doing it for so long, I can recall several dreams at night. And then what I'll do is I'll take that notebook and I'll go back over my notes and I'll spend the rest of the afternoon writing jokes about the dreams. So that's essentially what I do. I just kind of have to set up what I do. And now I'd like to try out some of my material for you. This first joke is based on a dream I had recently. And it was a fascinating dream. It was a flying dream, and it really was amazing. I know we all, talk about our dreams and how real it was, but this was amazing. The dream started off where it was me. I was literally flying through the air. I was not in a plane. It was just my person. I was not wearing a spacesuit or a helmet. I was just in regular street clothes, and I was thousands of feet in the air. I don't know exactly how high, but I was going through clouds. And I was basically, just to set it up, so I was like, my arms were extended like the wings, and I was facing the ground, but my feet were the other way, sort of forming the back rudder. So it would be as if I were standing here, my feet would be facing back. And I was floating, I was flying, and I was able to, go up and down and do the maneuvers. And, I've never been through a cloud. I don't know, in real life, I don't know what it feels like. I don't know the sensation, but it was so wet and cold going through the cloud, and that's, when I woke up that morning, I Googled, clouds, precipitation, and it was as if I had done it many times. The sensation I wish I could describe it better. It was really incredible. And I can only say, if anyone ever has a chance to go through a cloud, it's pretty amazing. And I speak for myself as well. If I ever have the chance to really, physically, literally go through a cloud, I will. But I also feel like I have. In case I don't ever get to. But it was incredible. And when I went through the cloud, when I came out the other side of the cloud, now I was in a plane. And it was a jumbo jet airliner, and I believe it was a 767, but I couldn't be 100% sure. That was the one detail I was like trying to remember and could not think of it. And I've flown since, and I've been on the planes and tried to remember, and I couldn't. But I'm just going to say it was a 767. And I was the pilot. I'm now flying the plane. I said, when I was in the air flying, was not wearing a spacesuit or anything, but now I'm in a full pilot's uniform. Standard issue, nothing fancy, nothing out of the ordinary about it. And I knew what I was doing. I've never taken a flying lesson in my life. That was. I've never taken a real flying lesson. I've never done a simulator. I've never done the video game where you can sort of learn how to fly. Nothing. And I knew exactly what I was doing. And every instruction that was fed to me from the tower, climb to 35,000 feet, bank here, I knew exactly what to do, knew which buttons to push, and everything was working fine. Knew how to engage the autopilot. It was amazing. It was a really fascinating experience. And at one point, I did put the autopilot on, and I was going to, get my lunch, and I go out of the cockpit, and there's no one on the plane. Not a single passenger. It was empty. This is a big jet. There's no crew, there's no passengers, nothing. And it was really odd. I was taking this all in, and it was a very strange sensation, and the plane's going fine. It's on autopilot. It was very weird. I'm asking around, is anyone here? Hello, hello, nothing. So I go back in the cockpit. As soon as I close the door, horrible turbulence, really jarring, and it was frightening. And I take the plane off autopilot, and I'm back in control. And I'm struggling with the controls, and I'm getting all the control panel saying hydraulics. And what that means is if you lose the hydraulics, you lose control of the plane. You can't steer it, you can't control it, nothing. It's bad. And now I'm in a nosedive. And, same thing, once again, I don't mean to reiterate this, but just the dream was so fascinating. The force of it was so intense. And I remember when I woke up that morning, I was like, I must have been, I have to start videotaping when I sleep, because I must have been like that, because my cheeks just hurt. When I woke up in the morning, I was just like, get that plane and get it, control of it. And we're going down. And I know I can't get out of this dive. And sure enough, right into the ground, explosion, disintegrates. When I came to, I'm still in the dream. When I came to, and I forgot a detail. When we're going down, now the plane is full. It was full of people. At some point the turbulence jarred the cockpit door open, and I looked back, and there's all just terrified passengers. Full plane of people. So the plane goes down, it explodes, no survivors, nobody. The whole plane is disintegrated, it's in a cornfield. It's like the pretty cliched, stereotypical plane crash. Cornfield, no survivors, one big, huge, 300-yard patch of corn just wiped out, charred, still, some piece of corn on fire. And I'm in a daze. And amazingly, my body was pristine. Nothing had been torn, burnt, nothing. I was fine. I walked away from this crash. And I'm walking through the wreckage, and it's just a nightmare. And I'm in a daze and trying to see if there's any survivors, and there's nobody. Nothing. Not even a hint or a sign of that there was even a plane here or people. And the only thing I stumbled upon eventually, I'm looking through the stalks of corn, and I find the black box. It was the only thing that survived. And I'm holding it, and it was actually freezing cold to the touch, amazingly. And I'm staring at it, and I thought, if this black box could survive the crash, why don't they build the whole plane out of the black box? Thank you very much. Thank you. So yeah, that's kind of a good one, I think, and I was pretty happy with that one. I remember when I kind of came up with the punchline, and I was like, this is pretty good.